First of all, note to self, do not get the comic book hut mad at you. Holy cow. That dude goes scorched earth. If you have a book and you give a due date, you make sure you get his book out first, because he's just like a terrier digging after something. He does not give up. Every time he puts out a video, it's holding people's feet to the fire, which is fine. I mean, if you have a campaign and it's late, I mean, it's not a big deal if it's late. A lot of campaigns are late. And something like Cyberfrog, if it's the first time he's doing something like this, okay, it's late, it's very late, big deal. You know you're gonna get it. It's not like you don't trust Ethan Van Sciver. He's a trustworthy guy. He's good. He's got a long history of producing top quality art. You're gonna get your project, and if you're so fed up with the guy, if you're so pissed off at him, you know what? You can sell the book for more money than you paid for it. So I mean, these people are complaining, but they're not. When there was a time they could have refunded their money, they didn't do it because, I mean, they're smart. The book is going to be worth something, probably. So I was watching the Comic Book Hut, and he was just going off on these late campaigns, which is fine, but like, you're going to get it. And then I saw this thing on Bleeding Fool, but I didn't see the date. I thought it was a recent article. I read the article and thought, oh, this kind of make an interesting little video. And then I read the comments at the back telling me what date it is. Anyway, this is from January 9th. What is up with Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog project? But it also showcases some of the great art for the new Cyberfrog, which is, if you read the Cyberfrog in the mid 90s or late 90s when it was coming out, and it's available online on various pirate sites. Not that I'm encouraging to look at them, and you can check it out. The art was good. I mean, it was okay for the time period. But more importantly, I think he wrote it, and the writing is really funny. It's actually better than the art. But the art is obviously much improved, and I'm sure the writing is even funnier. Okay, so this is written in January, and it talks about how successful the campaign was. I think it's done even more than that. I think it's like $800,000. And it's late, and as the calendars move forward, some of the project's backers and a handful of detractors have been asking about the status of the book and what's taking so long. Ethan Van Sciver responded today via the Indiegogo update. I'm drawing the last scene, Cyberfrog 98, in which they deal with a supervillain, Rumblebee, and Pollinate. Cute. A gang of old enemies actually looks like bees, which adds to the confusion of the Vispas invasion. They're all from Philadelphia, so it's fun to write their dialogue. We're going to print soon. This was in January. And Blood Honey will follow. Each panel of these books, my heart and soul is in them, and there's many people want the project to fail. Fair enough. There are a lot of mainstream comic professionals who are they belong in the insane asylum. There are a lot of crazy people. If you want to see what crazy people look like, go on Twitter for 6 months, and you will need therapy afterwards. It is the most just wretched hive of scum and villainy. People are at their absolute worst on Twitter. I almost think that Twitter was a social experiment that someone created just like Satan created Twitter. We looked at it with critical eyes. People who were upset that an independent project by me did so well. I invite this kind of criticism, working to offer a book that will last forever. Yeah, it looks fantastic. He's a very funny guy, so his writing is going to be very, very funny. It's not just a comic book. Yeah, he always talks like he's talking to SJWs just to pull their chain. It's the start of a new way of thinking about comic books. Books that stay in print, that are events, that are worth reading and rereading. Not disposable, frequent periodicals, but a work of permanence. I believe this is the inevitable future of comic books. It has to be. The world is evolving, and mainstream comics aren't sustainable using the structure and methods that they currently rely on. Comic retail stores are closing at a rapid pace. This is the future. All right, so he's poking some jabs at mainstream comics, but guess what? They totally deserve it. They have no one to blame but themselves, and they have no... They're doing everything on purpose. I mean, they're running a car with no water in the radiator and an oil leak and a power steering fluid leak, and they're running it at 6,000 RPM in the desert through the sand, and they don't care. They're running into the ground to try to destroy it. But they don't care. Their main goal is to write propaganda. All right, hey Ethan, the book's late. He said, yeah, the book was supposed to be released in November. So I was running a tad behind. I want you to know that it is coming. It's just the beginning. Your pleasure allowed me to be able to do this. Yeah, nobody really cares if it's late. Yeah, it's a year late, or will be a year late. So what? It's fine. It's people don't have a problem with it. You know why? Because most people had a problem with it, had the opportunity to. All they had to do is go to the Indiegogo campaign and click for a refund. That's all you gotta do. People don't want a refund. They just want to complain. It's fine. You have the right to complain. He made this possible. This is your victory. He's so full of shit. It's just coming out of his ears. But I mean, he's an entertainer, and he's also a very, very funny guy. When chatting with Ethan earlier today, I was asking about his approach, and it was growing even more curious. It sounded as though it was more than just about Cyberfrog. Yeah, it's the growth of a new industry. It's called Comicsgate. In fact, it was starting to sound like he was doing 3 books all at once. For a discussion, I realized it was indeed a 3-book project he was working on concurrently. I didn't know this. I guess I wasn't paying attention to this 3 books. Amphibionics is a reprint of the most rare vintage Cyberfrog book. It was a black and white ash can that we only printed 500 copies of. Yeah, that is pretty rare. Okay, so it was black and white, and he has the great Kyle Ritter, which has Starblades, which is on Indiecron and Indiegogo, and I think it's over $70,000. He is the Deaf Colorist. That is his Twitter handle. I think it's Deaf Colorist. And he's also a phenomenal drawer, penciler, inker. He's an inker for everyone else, but he drew it himself, and he's really solid. So yeah, this 20-year-old Cyberfrog is pretty damn funny, and the colors I'm sure are going to be phenomenal. It's my 18-page prequel comic to Blood Honey, Cyberfrog 98. Okay. Ouch. Revival comic. The main book is Blood Honey. It's the first chapter in the modern Cyberfrog series. 20 years past the 98 invasion, humans are an endangered species. This is where Cyberfrog Trick Ryan. Oh, my God. He is such a boomer. He's only like 45, but he acts like him and Cecil, they act like they were born several generations before. Cecil has a weird knowledge of like the Lawrence Welk show, and he has a knowledge of a 70-year-old. It's really weird. He's just got a great media knowledge. Wakes up to find the world dominated by the buzzers, which appears giant wasp creatures that use humans for food and shelter. Things looked hopeless, but now Cyberfrog is back. Tells the story of how and why Trick Ryan was hibernating, shows the actual invasion. Sounds good. Getting over 80 pages of story along with several other goodies. Okay, will it go mainstream? What about Diamond? Yeah, he's planning on releasing Cyberfrog 1, 2, 3 through Diamond on his all recently launched all caps comics label. Furthermore, once the Indiegogo campaign has been successfully filled, Ethan may pursue his idea to publish all 3 books in a single volume entitled Cyberfrog, warts and all. First things first, he's got to deliver these Indiegogo books as soon as possible. Yeah, fair enough. Chris Braley, the Braylinator. Yeah, all right. Then I got down to the comments. Came to this page via Twitter link. The art looks great. Everything pops, and though I don't know much about the character, it looks like an exciting and fun story. I don't know anything about backing a crowdfund, how to get my hands on this. Ethan Von Sciver has a 3rd and final variant cover available on Indiegogo. I believe it's a team up. Yeah, I don't know how many total variants. And then I got to this. Least we forget, it is now September 2019. Yeah, that's what got my attention. Then I didn't realize this thing was written in January. I was all excited about a great article. But yeah, that shows you how late it is. 9 months later. It's yeah. But again, nobody cares. It's Rich Johnston of Bleeding Fool did an article, and I believe he did this article about late crowdfunding campaigns, and I swear to God, I think he did the article just so he could mention Ethan Van Sciver and Cyberfrog, because there are a ton of mainstream professionals, including the Pouches guy who can't draw feet, the Deadpool guy, who have late campaigns, and they have campaigns that if you're perfectly honest, if something is 5 years late, then that's just theft. That's the intent to permanently deprive someone of their money. A year late, and you're showing progress on the work, that's fine. Several years late and no progress, that seems more like the theft crime. I don't know, some kind of deception by trick, deception by fraud. I don't know. But look at this. This looks fantastic. Oh yeah, Big Hawaiian Dick. What happened to Big Hawaiian Dick? Nobody holds his feet to the fire, huh? But I think Rich Johnson, the only purpose of that article was to go after Ethan, because Rich Johnson at Bleeding Cool is just a real nut job. Anyway, this is a Bleeding Fool article. They are a great website. Bleeding Fool and Bounding into Comics are very, very funny. And do not get on the Comic Book Hut's bad side, because he does not let things go. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next episode.